Hello, everybody. Welcome to Most Wanted Topics. I'm your host, Kevin Dennison, along with me, Atomic Tommy. How you doing, Atomic Tommy?
Good as always.
Tell you what, another week gone by. Hope everybody enjoyed their Monday Eclipse Day.
Yep. I hope so.
I hope everybody had a chance that traveled. Hopefully they got their way and got to see this phenomenon and didn't get shrouded by cloud cover.
We saw what we could. We made an attempt.
Make an attempt to do it, and you can't control the weather.
You can. It sucks.
Mother Nature's still in charge. No matter how much we think we can control it, we can't. But anyway, I hope everyone got to view the eclipse if they set forth to do it. Busy week in comics. A lot going on in comics.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on this week. We have a big week. This weekend, we have Tom Cook coming to the shop.
Yep, Tom Cook, animator from the 80s, Jetsons, Scooby-Doo, He-Man, Thandor, She-Ra.
Oh, yeah. Also, Smurfs. Even had a stint with some credit work with Scat the Cat from Paula Abdul's Opposite Attract.
Yep.
I'm going to have him sign a cell from that. I cannot wait for the signing. My childhood, I grew up on a lot of these cartoons, and I am so happy he's going to be in Minnesota and at Most Wanted Comics in Bloomington here, 9919 Lindale, from 10 to 5, everybody. So if you want a chance to meet a legendary animator, had an influence on our childhood entertainment, all the information will be posted this week on our website, mostwantedcomics.com, and also our Facebook, so follow along. Saturday, the 13th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., Tom Cook. Don't miss it. Be there. Let's talk about some books that came out this past week.
First, let's talk about the Berserker and the Grappler on the 18th from 4 to 6 p.m.
Oh,
here
that's
on Most Wanted Comics Thursday.
We're double dipping.
April 18th. I might have said the 16th just now, but it is Thursday, April 18th from 4 to 6 p.m. The Berserker and the Grappler.
So we come off a Saturday signing the 13th and go right into the 18th.
Yep.
Wow.
Two back to back, two wrestlers.
Berserker and Grappler coming because they're going to have a show on that following Saturday, so to promote that, they're going to be at our store. Yep. 4 to 6 p.m.
4 to 6 p.m., $20 gets you an 8x10, 2 autographs, one from each of the wrestlers, and a selfie.
You can't beat that price for $20. For $20,
yep.
Yeah. So make sure you come and meet them on the 18th. We were going to do another plug for them at the show, but hey, we might as well do it now while we're talking about it. Yep. So we got Tom Cook, and then on that Thursday after, we have Berserker and Grappler. So there's a lot going on at our store.
A lot going on.
Now, besides this, let's try to make some sales now. Now that we have all these guests and cool opportunities to meet people, let's try to sell something to keep our store in business so we can keep bringing in all these cool people. Let's talk about Moon Knight number 4 that came out.
Yep. Well, let's talk about Moon Knight number 4. Before we get to the Ghost Machine stuff, let's talk Moon Knight number 4. The big thing about this issue, they finally revealed who is the new Moon Knight. They ripped that Band-Aid off. Spoilers. This is your warning. If you haven't read it yet, spoiler alert,
okay,
I'm going to say
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going for it.
We're going for it. Somebody needs to tell me who the Shroud is, because I have no idea. I'm going to be honest. It was this big reveal. They built up to it for 4 issues. I was expecting this big cameo character nobody ever saw, and it's the Shroud. And I'm not saying the Shroud's a bad character or that it's a bad choice. I don't know. I just a little underwhelmed. Because
it was just a head scratcher.
It was a head scratcher. I don't know who the Shroud is. It sounds like he's a character from the West Coast Avengers. That's how they described it at the end of the book. He sounds like he's clearly a character that's not used too much, and a character that was probably around in the 80s, and just didn't really come out of that decade alive. So I just don't know. It was before my time, so some of you more, I don't know, older, seasoned readers may be able to.
Well, it just so happens his first appearance in Supervillain Team Up.
Number 5, yep, this is his first appearance right here.
And check it out, we even have it at the store.
So yeah. if you're like me and you're like, who the hell is the Shroud? Here's his first appearance. You can come in and check it out, grab it, pick it up.
Sales plug, Most Wanted Comics. Sales plug, Most Wanted Comics.
Other than that, I mean, back to Moon Knight number 4. I can't stress enough how cool Hunter's Moon is. I mean, Hunter's Moon was probably one of the best things out of Jed MacKay's the last Moon Knight run, the 30-issue run. Man, Hunter's Moon. Where's my Marvel Legend for Hunter's Moon? I mean, I want an action figure, Hunter's Moon is absolutely sick. But anyway, I'm not. It's not a critique on the new Moon Knight. I'm not saying it's bad. Not dissing it.
The good news is they ripped off the Band-Aid.
They ripped off the Band-Aid.
We know it's the Shroud.
It was just a bit of a head scratch. That's all I'm going to say. Now, let's talk about the Ghost Machine stuff. Geiger, Red Coat, Rook Exodus. All 3 of these books came out today, the start of the Ghost Machine universe officially. Every single one of these was a banger. I mean,
solid line of books. Every single one of these was a banger. Geiger was incredible. I'm a sucker for post-apocalyptic, survival stories. Geiger was amazing. I'm a sucker for future sort of, off-planet sort of WALL-E type stories where the Earth is dying and they have to go to another planet or something. That's not exactly the plot of WALL-E, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. I'm a sucker for those stories. Rook Exodus was crazy. I'm a Revolutionary War. I love historian buff. But listen to this also. I grew up with the Highlander. So Immortal and Immortals fighting, totally awesome.
Yep, that's cool. I've never heard of that, but again, probably before my time.
You can write to Tommy at P.O. Box.
Red Coat. I'm a sucker for Revolutionary War history, even though this is not really historically accurate. This is quite the opposite of historical accuracy. But it's still a great read.
It's a fun read. It's awesome. They know what they're doing, and this is a company that's launching their books under the Image umbrella.
And these books are made by professionals. These are no average Joes in a garage somewhere. These are industry professionals making these books, and it shows. The writing's top notch. The art is incredible. I mean, these are professionally made books by professionals, and it was great.
Has Marvel and DC figured out why they suck compared to? Have they figured out now? Because all the veterans, all the awesome teams that created all the books in the 90s and 2000s, have you noticed they're all writing elsewhere? And
True.
Art is elsewhere, and they've all gone independent, and because Marvel and DC sucks. Yep. At keeping their talent and keeping their creative crews and turning over so much. Do you think they would learn and say, hey, you know what? There are fans of these artists and writers. Maybe we should keep them on and have a cohesive creative team throughout these books.
And that's 100% right. And, as times change, right? History repeats itself. We saw this. You would have seen this with Image, how Image was created exactly like this. The veterans, the professionals that made these big 2 companies abandoned them because they felt that they weren't being treated properly, seen properly. Yeah, and I mean, these guys created Image sorely out of the fact that they didn't really like working for Marvel anymore.
DC and Marvel hold the most iconic. No one knows who Image characters are. Nobody knows. They're just putting out great stuff right now.
Right.
But they don't have Flash, Batman, Superman, stuff that's known all over the world, bought by the biggest company in the world, Disney. I mean, everybody knows. You can go all over the world, and everyone knows who Superman is. Doesn't matter. You know who the Flash is. You know who Batman is. Batman, Superman, the staples. Captain America, Iron Man, the movies. Okay, all these iconic characters, from Stan Lee to Jim Lee, with the X-Men run, and all these characters that everybody knows, and all the veterans are writing independent stuff now and drawing independent stuff. You would think you'd keep the pros on some of the most iconic characters, but no, we got to suck it up. Okay.
And I'm all for giving independent artists, a chance at the big leagues, right? I love that, but it's time to admit that some of it's not good, and some of it just isn't worth being put out there.
But you can't put a AAA ball club on Superman. Now they have Williamson writing, which is good on Action Comics.
We will get to that in 1 minute.
Okay, but I'm talking about you got to keep the pros in the show.
Yep.
And you're not gonna. There are phenoms. There is good young talent. There's plenty of room for the new talent to come in and work on books. There's plenty of titles to create. There's plenty of stories to do. But this isn't. you don't fade out at 31. You're not too old to write comics at 31.
True.
Or draw comics. It's not a physical sport.
Right.
You know, you don't age out at well, we better get a new creative team on this. You did 4 issues. You better stop. You've had your run. You did good.
Yeah.
You know? No, these guys are iconic for a reason, and they're all great. And you notice the difference. Look at how many people pick up a book and say, what the hell is this? You know, they all missed the old art on the pulp, you know? And that's... They're losing something. It's great that everybody can do it on an iPad and do it from their house. And there's still technology to do it. But don't get rid of all the big guns. You got rid of all your pros. And now your pros are going under all these umbrellas and different names, and they're putting out great stuff.
Yep. Absolutely.
And it's way better than the stories with our... They shouldn't be beating out stories of the iconic characters. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. That's my ramble. I mean, that's my complaint. DC and Marvel, get your shit together. Bring back the pros.
Bring back the pros. I think that's a great way to say it. I mean, at the end of the day, again, I think it's important we stress that we have no problem with independent artists.
And I'm happy other people get a shot. Up and comer. Look at the cover. Maria Wolf, up and comer.
Up and comer.
She's great. She's very talented. She does excellent art. Awesome art. We're gonna have her at the store.
We are.
We're gonna invite her to our store.
The problem is not independent artists. The problem is the fact that they're leaning too much into independent artists. I mean, the art quality in Marvel, whether you like some of it or not, has gone down substantially. I mean, across the board, art in DC Comics. If you look on an average DC Comic shelf, the art quality has tanked. I mean, literally tanked. The writing quality has tanked. If we want to look at Deadpool, one of my problems with Deadpool comics as a whole is that they often cover up the mediocre writing with the fourth wall breaks, and we see that. And this is no diss to the writer. I get it. There are standards that have to be made when writing a Deadpool comic, but I wasn't a huge fan of Deadpool #1 that came out this past week because it was just the dialogue, it was just pretty mediocre. And it's not a Deadpool specific problem. That's a big two problem. The whole industry, Marvel and DC specifically, suffers from the drop in quality. Obviously, there are exceptions.
There are exceptions because DC still has Mankey and Jurgens. They are solid. They are iconic.
They're iconic.
But imagine if they kept like Rockefort and Peltier and people like that with them, accompanying them.
Imagine if Jeff Johns was still actively writing for DC. Obviously, he comes back every once in a while, does a miniseries here and there. But imagine if he was still on Green Lantern. He's not, though.
Yeah.
And, imagine if these professionals that are on Ghost Machine right now were still doing their titles from DC, but they're not. And I think that's a problem. And we both think that's a problem, and we're going to move on now because we've been talking about it too long.
Let's have some fun. Cool item. Another sales pitch for Most Wanted Comics.
Sales pitch.
Here, Star Wars Clone Wars. How many times you see this out in the wild? Huh?
Not a whole lot.
Star Wars The Clone Wars into the shop. Beautiful raw copy. Got it priced right. It is a beautiful copy. It's going to grade high grade. So if you haven't seen the Clone Wars for a while and you want a raw copy, Most Wanted Comics has it in the store right now. You can get it at the store. With other Star Wars books as well. We have Star Wars Legacy. We have a bunch of Dark Horse comics as well.
We'll be moving that, organizing and processing it, moving it in over the next few weeks, getting that ready. But pretty much any Dark Horse title, we probably got it.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
There'll be sets coming out, and we'll be loading our long boxes, and even we're giving stuffed dollar books with dollar Star Wars comics.
We will be.
The dollar bin. So check out for that coming up in the future. So all right, let's move on.
Yep, let's talk about what's coming up this week in comics. First, circling back a little bit, you mentioned that Joshua Williamson was be writing Superman. That starts this week with Action Comics 1064. House of Brainiac, his new miniseries that's going to tie between the Superman ongoing and Action Comics ongoing starts. And I'm really looking forward to this. Again, we're Joshua Williamson fans around here.
We are.
He's a great writer, and I think Superman is good. I mean, Jason Aaron just finished an amazing 3-issue run on Action Comics. That was great. Williamson's coming in to follow it up with another great story.
Boy, when Jason Aaron writes a book, he really writes.
He really does.
There's no
great.
doubt about it.
Batman Off-Road is really good.
Here's a credit to a main company for holding on to Jason Aaron. Don't let that one go.
Don't let that
go. Jason Aaron is saving your ass with some good writing.
Yep. And then the other book to look forward to this week, Transformers number 7. The start of their new arc. 1 through 6 was their first arc on the story with their first story arc really, and then number 7 kicks off a new one. So that's this week for you. Boy,
it's packed. It's packed. We hope to see everybody on the 13th and the 18th. We'll have more coming at you. Everybody have fun out there. The weather's supposed to get really nice and warm here in beautiful Bloomington, Minnesota. Yep. So that means it's grilling season.
But wait, there's more. It's not time to go just yet.
What?
We got to talk about Invincible.
Invincible. Wow.
Invincible right. Season 2 just wrapped up. Now, you didn't watch it.
I haven't watched it yet.
You're outcasted. I'm here to talk about it because I watch it. I'm an Invincible fan. You guys know this. Season 2,
Very much so.
First, let's talk about the season split. They split the season into 2 parts, the first 4 episodes and the last 4 episodes. It's a hot topic right now, controversial topic. It was a misplay. I completely agree. I understand wanting to get it out there and needing to do some final touches. And, the season not being ready, I get that. But there really weren't enough episodes to really justify being worth it, right? They tried it. It didn't work. I hope they don't do it next season because it just, the last 4 episodes, it just wasn't enough. It didn't feel like it was worth the wait. And even despite the fact that the finale was really good, it just wasn't worth it. However, the content in the season was really good. Angstrom Levy is a great villain here. I'm not going to spoil much, coming up in future issues or future seasons, but he's a really cool villain. They nailed it on comic accuracy. I mean, panel to panel, it was insane. The Spider-Man cameo, even though it wasn't Spider-Man, was really cool. I really like how they did that. We're gonna keep it brief.
I have yet to see it, but I heard it's good.
It was a great season. The content was really good. I do like how they handled the Mark and Amber breakup. That was another thing that a lot of people were waiting for because obviously Mark has to end up with Eve. But, I do think that went on a little too long, but it was wrapped up nicely. So that's Invincible Season 2. We'll have to wait another year probably for the 3rd season. It's too long.
The angst.
Next season, I'm not going to spoil anything, but next season should be a big season. This is sort of that intermediate season. If we look at the comics, the first season was really those first 20 issues of Invincible, and then this is sort of that next 20, and then you really get into the good stuff coming up here after that. So this is sort of that in between. We're coming up on Blue Suit Mark, which is sort of like if you've seen Peter, everybody knows Peter Parker symbiote. That's sort of what this is, but Invincible. We're coming up on Blue Suit Invincible.
It's exciting.
Here.
Calm down. Keep it down.
We're coming up here on some big stuff in Invincible Season 3. So we're gonna leave it at that. I just wanted to briefly mention it. You guys have a great week.
Yeah, have a great week out there, everybody. We'll be back with some recaps and talk about the Tom Cook and getting ready for the Berserker. Everybody have fun. Grill some steaks and burgers if you're enjoying the weather. And have a good week, everybody.